Welcome everyone to the Circle Debate Podcast MMA episode 3. This is the host of previous one, Ivan Steve, and I'm here with my brothers from another mothers. I'm going to introduce the one and only. Well, he is a one and only. That is PK1 Chris Kennedy. Hope you guys enjoyed the interview we had with Mr. Everything, because Victor Angelo, I think that was a great interview. I loved it. But today is
I did, man. That was a blast.
Oh yeah,
we're actual best friends now. We're like DMing each other on Instagram. I'm like, how is this happening? Like it's insane the friendships and the relationships you can make just doing a little podcast like this.
Oh man, it's unbelievable. It is magic. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we have, of course, one half of the Brothas Brothers, which Richard is not here today. But we have Alex Mares joining us from the Championship on the Line podcast. And today we have a new honorary guest who we're hoping to have moving forward as we're doing these MMA episodes, and that is Mr. Jose Vera. How are you?
What's going on, guys? Good to see you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely excited to have somebody with credentials that could either,
Absolutely. Before we even start,
in our place.
Yeah, before we even start, let the viewers know about your credentials. What are you doing? Your background.
Yeah, well, I've been training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for 14 years. I'm a black belt under Mula Bahal at Gracie Baja Northridge. I teach the kids classes out in Gracie Baja Tarzana. You can find me there Monday through Saturday. I'll be there every day, pretty much teaching, coaching, helping out the kids classes, running the program.
One day off a week. That's sick.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's really
awesome. I've been doing martial arts. I've done other martial arts on and off. I've done a little bit of boxing. I did a little Krav Maga. I did karate like every kid did when he was young too.
Did you go to that World Krav Maga Center on Ventura in Sepulveda?
No, I actually did it off.
I drive by that all the time.
I did it at a CrossFit gym where I used to do CrossFit years back. And what the owner of the CrossFit gym used to be a black belt Krav Maga guy.
Oh shit!
And he actually was a black belt from that studio or that center there. And right. I did it for about a year, and it was great. It was a good experience, man. It's a little intense, a little crazy. The testing is a little much. I mean, I remember I tested for my yellow belt. It's a 3-hour test where you get run through the ringer for about an hour and a half of just like pure exhaustion, and then the last half hour is your exam, and it's like technique is out the door. At that point, it's just like whatever you can do. It's like, okay, you finished, you didn't pass out, and you're still alive. Cool, here's your belt.
That's your passing is living.
Yeah, exactly. To me, it's like I get it, but it's like that should be done like during training or special classes for a belt promotion. It's like, how do you really know the guy knows how to do the technique if he's just like exhausted, doing sloppy work? To me, it's like, kind of like it was all right. It was cool. I liked it for like some of the self-defense aspects, like the knife training, stick training. But like overall, it's like, it's too much. Like they didn't incorporate too much ground or anything. I was like, you got to incorporate the ground more than you do.
Right. Yeah. That is awesome. Yeah. We will put that description, all his social media platforms below on the videos, and make sure hit him up. If you want to be teach, this is the man to go to.
Thank you, guys.
Now let's move on. Gentlemen, before we go ahead and discuss about UFC 258 coming up this Saturday, I want to talk about what happened this past Saturday with UFC Fight Night. Let's talk about the co-main event. Let's talk about the shocker, knockout with a knee. Jesus.
28 seconds.
And then, man, Corey Sandman Sanhagen knocking out Frankie Edgar. Jesus. That shocked the whole world, and it shocked the hell out of me. So I'll go ahead and ask our guest, Mr. Vera, where do you see now Frankie Edgar was just lost? Where do you see his career now going? I mean, this is a tough loss for him. It was unexpected, So I mean,
that was a tough loss. I mean, you could tell Corey really studied Frankie, because if you ever see Frankie, he always dips when he's going to throw that right hand.
Yeah,
he has a little bit of dip, and he timed it perfectly. I mean, he threw that knee right. If you see the slow motion, you see him dipping, going forward, and Corey just bam landed that beautiful knee and just lights out. I mean, he has the same tendency like you see Cormier also. Cormier, when he throws his right hand, he tends to dip, which you saw John Jones catch him with that high kick.
Jones joked about that too.
Yeah, and Jones told him before the fight, you dip, I'm going to catch you when you dip. And you can see both of them do that same thing. They kind of do this little tilt to the side as they're going to throw that right hand, and it costs Edgar. But unfortunately, I think we're seeing the end of Edgar's career. I mean, you can see he can hang with most people, but that upper echelon, like kind of guy, it's just starting to get too tough. Those tough dogs are up the top 5. It's going to get hard at his age. I think it's the cutting of the weight. He looked in great shape, but I think he's got
so
a lot of miles,
40.
too many miles on his body where it's like, it's hard to kind of keep up with those top 5 guys. I think in the, anything below top 5, I think he could still hang, but I think it's time for like kind of Frankie to, end his career. A good send away would be a good fight against, I don't know, Aldo or somebody like that would be a great fight. Or even Dominic Cruz. I think Dominic Cruz would be a great fight too.
Wow.
Even Dominic, both of them
match.
kind of at the end of their careers, put that big old legend fight right there. That'd be awesome. I think that'd be a great way for both of them to kind of walk away in their careers.
Oh yeah, definitely. I agree. Do you agree, Mr. Mottes? Do you agree with that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I knew I had him favored to win the fight, but I just didn't think he was a knockout in 28 seconds. I mean, especially, in this fight, it kind of reminds me of like with Sanhagen winning this fight. It's kind of like the new breed that's coming in while like the legends are kind of fading away. This is what kind of reminded me, because Frankie Edgar was, former world champion, and now he's 39 and then he suffered this huge loss. Where does he go from here? Does he go to retirement or does he fight one more time? I would like to see him fight one more, maybe a huge legends fight, and then just retire, But yeah, good win for Sanhagen. He gets a shot at the title with this win for sure.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. Do you agree with that, Mr. One and Only?
Man, I don't know where to begin with this story of me and Frankie Edgar, because I remember where I was when he debuted against Tyson Griffin at UFC 67. I think that was Travis Lutter versus Anderson Silva match. I think Leo Machida may have debuted later in that card against Sam Hoger. Actually, I think that's right. If I'm right, that's crazy. Going from there to tapping out Matt Veach, to getting a title shot for BJ Penn, being one of the biggest underdogs, going to Abu Dhabi, beating BJ Penn, getting a world title shot, keeping that title for so long, and then going on to being the one guy who has never been finished in the UFC at like his record at the time was like 25-2, something like that. Brian Ortega knocking him out with like an uppercut in the heavens. That was an upset. Winning a few more, never really having Aldo's number. Moving up and down from 45 to 55, kind of trying to find his right weight class, sticking with Mark Henry the entire time out in Tom's River jersey. And then the Korean Zombie fight, he just gets demolished. He's picked apart left and right. There's no answers for him. Comes back and wins a split decision against Pedro Munoz, which impressed the shit out of me. And then this fight. I'm not surprised it happened, and I'm not surprised it happened like that. I was more impressed with Corey Sandhagen's finish and how he finished Marlon Moraes in his last fight
Yeah.
than I was in this fight. But the thing to be said about this fight was exactly like Jose had mentioned, that Sandhagen knew the tendencies. He had said before the fight that he will not stop the takedown, but he's got some tricks, whether it's his jiu-jitsu or striking. And I think this was the only shot that was even thrown by Sandhagen in the fight. I think it was him circling, him baiting, trying to get him to chase him, making Edgar think he had him and cornering him and trying to cut the ring off. And as soon as Edgar put his hands down, he popped him with the right knee, I believe, in just one jump. It wasn't even like a two-step like what Aldo hit Swanson with. It was just one and done. Edgar was on a different planet before he even knew he was in a fight. You could see the troubled look on Corey's face. He celebrated, and then he's like, "Oh shit, I might have actually killed this guy." And he had fighter's remorse, which is a real thing. We've seen it with like Uriah Hall versus Andy Sella. Man, just where does Frankie go? The Dominic Cruz fight's perfect. That's awesome. Does Corey get a title shot right away? I mean, you got Aljamain Sterling versus Peter Yan. That's the fight to make. And we saw what Aljamain did to Corey, tapped him out in a minute. So that fight needs to lay itself out. And then maybe Corey gets the winner of that. Does he take a fight before that? That is up to him. Is it a smart thing to do? Probably not, but he might do it because he's a warrior. And like Alex said, new breed, which is crazy because I've been watching for almost 30 years and lived through so many generations of the new breed. Rich Franklin was the new breed.
Yeah.
Ken Shamrock was the Frankie Edgar. Chuck was the new breed. Tito was the new breed. Anderson was the new breed.
Yeah.
GSP was the new breed. He was the first of the, full, well-rounded mixed martial artist. And now you got these kids coming up that are literally kids. and are just doing what they're doing against these veterans. And it is, I think, we're seeing the beginning of this new crazy video game era of fighters that are just doing everything they've ever seen in a video game or in Mortal Kombat. And I can't wait to see what MMA looks like in just 2 years. I say that every time I watch a fight, is you never know what's going to happen and the evolution of the sport. And it just gets gnarlier and gnarlier.
I think people forget how young MMA still is. You know, it's not that old. It hasn't been around that long as like, you know, boxing or something like that. Every time the fighter's going to evolve, man. In 2, 3, 4 years, I mean, it's going to be a whole different sport.
Yeah,
these guys going to be complete athletes, you know, where it's a complete athlete, no longer, you know, like Tank Abbott, who came out of the bar and came out to swing. You know, it's like you see that progression, you know, you've seen that progression from fighter. You saw it with Frank Shamrock. Frank Shamrock became that next development. From Frank Shamrock, you got T. Ortiz, who learned from that fight.
Yeah,
you know, and it moved on, like you said, Rich Franklin. I mean, look at John Jones too. I mean, even John Jones is starting to get caught up. You know, you saw with the Dominic Reyes fight, you know, little by little. You know, every generation starting to get a little bit better, a little bit better. And it's going to keep going.
It's like old sports car, new sports car. They keep up, and slowly they're creeping. And
I agree, definitely. And I mean,
I'm excited. Like, I want to watch MMA forever. I want to see it in 100, 200 years. Like, fuck.
I think we are, man. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. And I mean,
I am. Unless Elon Musk does time machines, bro. But yeah, like, yeah, it never lulls. It never goes backwards. It's not like other things. It's not, especially like movies or music, where the sequel is worse or the second album is worse. You get that with an individual fighter where you say, oh, it's time for him to hang it up. But for every guy that hangs it up, you get 20 more young lions coming in.
Oh yeah.
You know, the Dan Hookers, the Corey Sandhagens, the Peter Yan. Peter Yan came out of nowhere.
Oh yeah.
He debuted in Singapore like 2-3 years ago, and now he's smashing Jose Aldo in front of his own kids.
God.
That fight should have been stopped.
Oh, like
way earlier.
17
minutes. I don't know why the ref took long to stop that fight, but I should have been stopped in the beginning.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
that was a brutal beating that poor guy took.
Yeah,
it's brutal.
Definitely
was that the one where Dan Hardy was yelling at the ref after the fight?
I think that's the same card. Yeah, that was the same card.
Yeah. Dana White was like, Dan, listen, man, like, kind of don't charge the cage. It's like that guy was dying, like literally dying. The ref's only there to save your life.
And that's also Dan Hardy's guy too. So I mean, you kind of understand that, you know, the point of view where he's coming from too. Like, he's seen this guy just get beat. You know, beat to death. You know,
and he can't throw with a towel in from the commentary.
No, he can't. Yeah, he's not even part of the corner. No.
Oh, man,
definitely. And speaking of who should retire as well, it looks like our other boy who's the main event. Talking about Alistair Overeem getting out. Like, Volkov, you know, it was expected, to be honest. I'm just giving my opinion. It was expected, but I didn't think it was going to be this bad. But I mean, he's also hitting that peak as well. And I think Overeem, I think it's about that time for him to step away. And I think, I mean, he's done so much in his career, even though during his pride time and, you know, during here at USC. So I'll go back to you, Mr. Vida. You agree with that? You had Overeem as well should retire after this fight.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he made a statement already even before this fight that this was his big push to try and get the title. You know, end his career. One more. He said, one more. I win the title. I walk away. I retire that night. You know, I go home, call it a day. I mean, if you see the fight, I mean, it was the odds had it even, but that fight was not even. No. The problem is that Alistair, all he did was cover up. He didn't throw as much. He wasn't letting go his hands or his kicks. You saw him back up too much against the fence and just like cover up. And it's like with Volkov, you can't let him do that. You let him tee off, that guy's going to throw those body kicks, those low kicks, start throwing his punches, his combinations, which is what he did. He just started throwing his combinations, throwing his kicks. He let him fly free. And this is what you get. And also, if you heard, Overeem said he didn't recover from that first round where he got his nose broken.
No, he didn't.
And you could tell because second round, he was out. I mean, he was barely hanging on. I mean, he kept covering up, kind of wobbling to the back, and then it was just over. I mean, as soon as the second round started, that fight was over. But yeah, I think Overeem is definitely at that stage where it's time to hang it up. I mean, he was a Strikeforce champion. He was a Pride champion. He was a K1 Grand Prix kickboxing champion. I mean, the guy's done it all. Granted, he hasn't done the UFC run, gotten a belt, but he had a great career in the UFC. I think it's definitely time to hang it up. Maybe one more Legends fight if he wants to throw one in there, you know. but I think it's time to hang it up. Really,
No, yeah, definitely. CK1, your thoughts?
Man, I think Overeem said that, and everything that you can say and that he said about himself has been said so many times before. He is a glass cannon. He is a heavy hitter that just needs to get dinged. 15 knockouts in his career, and he still has most of his wits about him.
Oh yeah.
I'm still impressed. He had a 2-win streak with I just had it up here. Sorry, and there were finishes. So a third win, I think, would have, I guess, almost graciously just gifted him the winner of Ngannou versus Miocic. Would not have gone very well because he's been murdered by both of those guys. It would have been a nice story. It would have been a nice story to see Alistair get that final, Cinderella Man belt. He's had every belt in every major organization except the one. Just might be too late. It sucks because after 15 KOs, he's still doing the damn thing, and he's still hungry, and he's in his last 2 wins been impressive. But just Volkov's got that Russian style kickboxing, and he's younger, less damage, and just took it to him like for 6 minutes exactly, basically.
Oh yeah, Mr. Modest.
Yeah, it hurts me because I'm a huge Overeem fan.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to say something.
So it
Like
hurt
Demolition
me,
Man style too, back down to 205 when he'd come out with Thor's hammer, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was right back in those Pride days.
Yeah.
When he was beating Vitor for lunch, hell yeah, dude.
And like, especially like with him, like this was his last run. This was his last run for that title, and he couldn't afford a loss going for that path for that title. So I don't know where he goes. I mean, I would like to see him fight one more, just to at least finish off at least with a win. I'd like to see him fight probably another legend.
Cormier.
That's a good fight.
That fight never happened.
Yeah, you're right. It never did. I don't think it
never happened.
No,
it never happened. And when you fight a guy like Volkov, you can't be fighting against backing up against the cage. You just can't do that. You got to be the aggressor and put the pressure on a bigger guy like Volkov. Yeah. And like I said, we had Blake Bulletproof Truth on our podcast last week. And
did you really?
Yeah,
dude, I love him. He spams my Cage Fighter MMA group. He keeps calling out who's Edmund Taverdian's kid. Not his actual kid, but the Brad Tavares just lost to him. Oh God, what's his
Edmund,
name?
Or no?
Yeah. The other Edmund, Edmund Sabazian. Yeah.
Bazian,
he keeps calling him out in our group like we know him, like we're Dana White.
Mm-hmm.
He's like
he calls out everyone. He wants to fight
I'm just like, I had to do research. I'm like, is this like a troll or is this like a real guy? I'm like, oh, he's a real guy. I'm gonna let him do his thing. I don't want to get involved.
He's I met him in person. He's a really big guy. So
he's like on the 170s too.
Yeah, because he's a heavyweight, so it's crazy.
Yeah, I was like, why is he? I'm pretty sure he's it's a weird call out, but whatever gets him clout.
Yeah. He's always always chasing for clout. But with him, he trained Volkov for this camp. He was one of the sparring partners for him, getting ready for the Overeem fight. And even he was saying like, oh, he's gonna knock this guy out. He's gonna knock him out. It'll probably be in the first round or second round because his stand-up has improved so much, and his wrestling too, because he learned so much from that Blades fight. So Volkov and Volkov.
So did Overeem.
Volkov was a former Bellator champion.
When Overeem lost the Blades, he went to his camp and only wrestled with him, and that's what put him on that 2-fight win streak. So I guess Blades is just the heavyweight trainer of the division.
That's crazy. So you think Volkov should get a title shot? That's the biggest question. Or
he should fight a couple more times. I think he should fight. He's probably 1 win, 2 wins away from getting a title fight.
Okay, because what?
I say definitely two solid wins. I think would get him a title shot.
Not to look too far into next weekend's card with Ngannou versus Miocic, but there's no one claiming that winner. Cormier retired. Jones might be heavyweight by then. That might be the summer fight. That might be fight week in July. Fuck. Right? You might be getting Jones versus Ngannou. Holy shit, dude. But after that, if it's not Jones, there's no one left in heavyweight to challenge besides Volkov or Blades. And Blades doesn't have a win record versus Ngannou, so fuck, man.
I know.
And then Blades is fighting Lewis too, so
that's right.
My balls was hot.
All right, so now let's move on with the main card of UFC 258. I'm looking forward for it. So I'm going to go one by one with it, and I want to see, Chris, are you going to want us to do the typology for this one as well coming up?
Yeah, if you guys want to, I don't know if Jose goes, you know about tapology.com. It's basically just a prediction site. You get points based on who you pick to win by what method and in what round, and then it adds it up, and you get a point. You get like a perfect score if you pick round win by John Jones TKO round 1. That's a perfect score.
Oh, okay.
And then when we do the review show, we add them up and just pick a winner based on the score.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah,
definitely.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's easy. I can send you like links on how to do it. You just basically, it's free. It's not gambling. It's not DraftKings. We're not sponsored by that. It's just some fun shit to do.
Just give you your social security number and we're good to go.
Yeah, it's free.
Yeah, because we did the last one. You won that one, right?
Alex won that.
Yeah, I won it.
Somehow
Alex won it. Okay.
Nobody got anything right on that, so he kind of just edged it down a little bit.
All right, so let's start with the first match. So you want to pull it up on your OSB?
Yeah, I definitely want to pull that one right up.
All right.
Out of computer. There we go.
All right, so we got Maki Pitolo versus Julian Marquez. So you go ahead and start off, CK1. What do you got this one?
Oh, man, I like the Cuban Missile Crisis. He used to train out of my homegirl's camp in Vegas at Syndicate. I think he may have moved on since then. But I also know I think he's been injured and hasn't fought in. I have stats pulled up because there's just so much.
Yeah, he hasn't fought since 2018.
2018, and I was on the Ultimate Fighter, and he lost that. But
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, before that, almost all finishes in the Independence and on Contender Series. He's up and coming talent. He's scary. He just hasn't had the time in the cage. I think it has been an injury and maybe finding a new camp. But based on what I can see with Maki Pitolo's record, it's not impressive, unfortunately. I always want to talk about a fighter like they're standing right behind me. Mm-hmm. But when I'm doing picks and odds, the favored pick would definitely be Marquez. I actually think on the OBS it shows favorites. Let me see here. Is this it right there? I cropped it out. There were the odds on this picture. I cropped it out.
Mm-hmm.
I'd pick Marquez probably by TKO round 2. Just based on what I know about him and what I don't know about Maki. That'd be like the safe bet. I'll put that down on the Tapology for sure. Is Marquez in the round 2?
Okay. All right. What do you got, Jose? What do you got on this one?
Yeah, this can be. Yeah, I'm also going with Marquez out of Syndicate. It looks like, well, from what I saw in Pitolo, it's just he's coming off a 2-fight losing streak. Really no ground game from either guy. So this is definitely going to be a stand-up war. I agree with Chris. It's definitely going to be a TKO in the second round by Marquez.
There you go.
I think that he hits hard, but it might take him a couple minutes to figure out.
Yeah, especially he's coming back from a layoff. I could see him taking a little time, but I could definitely see a second round TKO. He's a good striker, solid stand-up. Definitely no grappling game whatsoever.
If he's still training with John Wood, then he knows how to hit. So
yeah.
Alex, what do you got on this one?
I see Marquez winning by knockout. But it's gonna be interesting to see how Pitolo fights because I think it's kind of do or die. If he loses, he's gonna probably most likely get released. So he's gonna come in pretty hard. Especially Marquez too. He has a huge knockout power. I remember watching him in Combat Americas. Yeah, he had a huge run over there and it got him into UFC. So I see Marquez winning by knockout.
All right. So everybody goes with Marquez.
Look at this for a record. Darren Stewart, Marquez tapped out Darren Stewart, and Darren Stewart tapped out Pitolo. So that like 18 choke. So that's some MMA math for you. That's a real thing.
Yeah, that always works out 100%.
MMA
math, perfect.
Yeah.
I mean,
Holly Holm, Misha Tate, Ronda Rousey. It all makes sense.
It all made sense. Yeah.
None of that throuple made sense at all. I still can't believe that like Holly beat Ronda, Ronda beat Misha beat Holly. Like, get the fuck out of here, man.
All right, let's move on to the second one. So we got Andre Ewell versus Chris Gutierrez, and this is on the catchweight division. So start off CK1. We're going around in circles.
Yeah, right. How about that? Oh man, 15-40 knockouts. Looks like Gutierrez or Gutierrez. I know how to pronounce names. Gutierrez knows how to bang. He wins half of his fights by knockout.
Mm-hmm.
And damn, so does Yule.
Yeah.
Who fought most recently? 2 fights in 2020. Gutierrez had 2 fights in 2000. This is a pick and fight. This is, I think, flip a coin, man. I don't know how this is going to go down. They have a very even record, very even finish rate, and both fought twice last year. So, yeah, man, I don't have anything in educational right now.
It's tough for me.
They're almost like the same fighter as far as like on paper goes. I could pick Andre because he's from Anaheim and I'm from Orange County. That's the best I got for
That's how we're gonna go now.
Yeah,
yeah, he's from from the OCs. I have to go.
Yeah, so I mean, if I were to pick, it would be Yule, but I'd have to watch these fights more recently to really put them down on paper because they're very even. I mean, yeah,
they're evenly matched in my opinion. It's just really tough, but I don't know. I might go with Andre. I might go on this one with him. That's what I felt where I will go, but by decision, that would be my pick. Yeah, but Jose, what do you got on this one?
Yeah, this is a tough one. This is a flip 'em coin. But I'm gonna go with Gutierrez on this one, and I'm gonna go TKO in the third. Ooh. I think it's gonna go to third, but I see him pulling out in third. Look for the TKO. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Risky, but I'm gonna go with it.
Yeah, I mean, usually when this happens, I just pick. I wait for the weigh-ins and I just watch the weigh-in attitude, and then I'll be that guy. And it sometimes works. I'll just be like that guy by decision.
No, it does, especially if one looks more dry and sunken in from the weight cut. It's like
or just like the intensity. If someone's all up in someone else's face, usually it doesn't go well. Like Ian Kutalaba.
No, it doesn't.
Ian Kutalaba is the king of like great face-offs in the weigh-ins, and then just not that doesn't pay off in the ring.
Yeah.
Oh man, what do you got on this one, Alex?
Yeah, it's a pretty even match, both with even pretty similar records. I don't really know that much about Gutierrez. I've seen more of Andre's fights, and he's coming off with 2 impressive wins too. So he's always, and I mean his losses are against tough guys. I mean Marlon Vera, Daniel Wood. So I see Andre winning a close decision.
Okay, all right. I love it. Yep. I can't wait to do our Tapology for this one because this is the one. Oh, I cannot wait.
That's the one where I have almost no idea.
Yeah, that one. I'm gonna go with Andre too, though. I'm gonna have to go with him by decision. I'm gonna have to go with that one decision. All right, so let's move on to the next one. That's this one. Yep, Kelvin Gastelum, Ian Heinisch. All right, go ahead, CK1. You got this one.
Oh man, Ian Heinisch all day long. He is by definition in the category of young and hungry next generation. Kelvin Gastelum is definitely a tank. He's talented. He's a barn burner, but his record right now ain't great. He gets finished pretty quickly. Like he's 3-2 in his last 5, and before that he was 3-3 with a no contest. He's a tough guy once he gets going. I just think Ian's gonna be faster and more clever than him and put him out. I think it's gonna be first round TKO.
Wow.
At best, it'd be a KO, but I see a TKO. I see him dropping them and then finishing them on the ground.
That's a bold statement right there.
It is. If you ever seen Ian Heinisch fights, man?
I know. I seen this. I'm like, shit. This guy is hungry. His
LFA run was crazy, and then I mean, it's been like 6-7 months, but the Gerald Meerschaert fight was quick. That was, he had a night off basically with that.
Oh yeah.
Fight. Yeah. You train for 6 weeks and then you only spend a minute in the cage and go right back to training.
Right. All right, Jose, what do you got on this one?
This one, man, I'm gonna go with Gastelum. I like Gastelum. I think I know he's on a 3-fight win streak, 3-fight losing streak. Pardon me, but he's lost the top competition. I mean, he lost that. I know he got subbed by Hermanson.
Yeah,
that was a tough loss. He lost a split decision to Till, and then he lost the decision to Adesanya. 3 tough losses, but all top-ranked opponents.
Yeah, definitely.
Really highly touted contenders there. I think if he loses this one, he's going to be cut. Especially the way the UFC's been cutting people right now. I think he's definitely on the chopping block, and I look for Gastelum to come back. Center back his wrestling, take him down, ground him out, pound him out. But it'll be 3rd round decision, definitely decision. Heinisch is good. He's got a solid win against Meerschaert. He got that 1st round TKO. But before that, he had 2 losses. Decision loss to Brunson, and then Akhmedov, I believe is his name. Is the other guy he lost the decision right. He's got 2 wins. I mean, his 2 big wins was Cesar Ferreira and Carlos Jr. Yeah. 2 really solid wins. Mm-hmm. But I think Gaslam's seen better competition, and I think you're going to see the best side of him come out here, especially since he's up on the chopping block.
Yeah, I like that.
Third round decision.
It's a test for sure for Heinisch.
Heinisch, yeah, definitely big test for him. This is a really big fight. I think that's good. Catapult him up in the rankings for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. Alex,
I'm gonna go with Gaslam on this one. I think his experience with high-level fighters with talent, it's gonna be a boost for him. His experience is gonna win him this fight. But Heinisch is a guy that's hungry. I think he's more hungry than Gaslam, so that's gonna be it's gonna be interesting to see how this one plays out. But I think Gaslam needs to win because he's gonna get cut. This will be if he loses, will be his 4th loss in a row. And especially he comes with a good camp. He comes with Cordero, with Kings MMA, which it's a great camp. So yeah, I see Gaslam winning, and I see a decision.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with that too. This decision, because this is his last chance. This is either do or die. Do or die, and the biggest test for Ian. So
yeah, definitely.
That's
a good story. It's gonna be a really good story.
It's gonna be fireworks on this fight, I think.
Time.
Yeah, where he fits at 185 with a win here is top. I mean, I don't know what Gaslam's ranked right now, but
Gaslam's ranks, he's probably like in what,
top 11,
top 10, like somewhere like a 9 or 10. I know Ian is like
it's got to be in the top 10 somewhere.
Yeah, if he is ranked, it's definitely inside of the 10. 15.
Yeah, because like Jose said about the last 3 fights that Gaslam had, still hasn't been there in the top 10.
Yeah,
but
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I mean with Ian though, like he's like right in the bottom. So it is like this is for him to come up. Well, this big win will boost him up in the rankings at least later in the future title contention. But yeah, I'm hoping that
100%.
Yeah, that Gaslam keeps this, wins this fight and keeps his job, because if not, you might be seeing him in Bellator. You might be seeing him in Bellator. See him in Bellator, or not a bare knuckles. You might see him there too. You never know.
Oh, you might see him make that $1 million fight at PFL.
Oh,
right.
Might do the Anthony Pettis go get that $1 million back.
He knows what he's doing. Like, why do I want to fight all these young bucks when I can just get cash out right now?
That's very true. It's very true. All right, let's move on to the next one. Which one is?
Oh, it actually, sorry, it says it right here. I didn't notice. It says Kelvin's number 9, ranked number 9, Ian's number 15.
Yeah, you see. Okay. So I figured that Ian was at the bottom
for sure.
It's a big bump.
Mm-hmm. Big time.
I have this moral rule where if you beat the number, you take the number. So
yeah,
and the win over Gaslam too looked good in his record too. A big win. So
a huge win. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that would look good. Definitely. All right, we got the next one now.
Hell yeah.
Yes, that's right. Macy Barber, Alexa Grasso. This is the one that I'm like, eek. I don't know. I'm gonna coin toss on this one too. I like them both. It's hard for me to decide who's gonna win that one. But yeah, go ahead, CK1. You go ahead. It's all you.
Jesus Christ, man! I'm gonna try and wrap this up in a nice little package here and not be too offensive. I loved Macy Barber. She was definitely the future of the sport. She was great on the not Ultimate Fighter, Contender Series. I liked her record, finishing everybody, tough women, a lot of former Invicta people, and I'm an Invicta fanboy. I will watch and promote that company till I die. And then she had to open her big fat mouth and start talking some shit on my homegirl's trainer, Roxanne Modafferi. She had to say some personal things that just by proxy of being close friends with people that trained with Roxy and having the honor of attending some Roxy fights when she was in her Invicta run, didn't sit well with any of us. She could have just been spirited like Roxy's always been. But no, she, I think, kind of said some things that were like just definitely like off kilter, that just to sell the fight. She was trying to be Connor. And she got what she deserved. And then she tried to open her mouth again and blame her fault for like busting up her knee when Roxy was just piecing her up left and right. And it was Roxy who injured that knee and put her out for a year. But until then, I was on the Macy train. She had a clock in her gym that was counting down her birthday that was equal to when John Jones won the title, so she could be the youngest UFC champion of all time. So she's like, if this clock, if as long as I win the title before this clock runs out, I will be the youngest UFC fighter. I think that clock's been stopped. And I love Grasso. Again, like I said, I'll preach all day long with the Invicta fighters. Grasso's had a tough go in the UFC. Her first loss to Felice Herrig was weird. I think she might have won that fight. And then I love Tatiana Suarez. She pieced her up, took her out real quick. She deserved that win. And then the Esparza fight was a war. Carla is tough. She represents Mexico. She doesn't stop getting better. And I don't know what Macy's going to show up. If it's going to be a young and hungry, vengeful fire like we saw in her first 4 fights, where she was just coming out and just taking girls out to the back of the Dairy Queen and beating their ass, or if Alexa's gonna use technique and experience to put it on her. This is one of those fights where I want Alexa to win, but I would put money down on Macy. If Alexa wins, it's going to be decision. If Macy does it, it's going to be probably TKO within 4 minutes.
Wow.
But I have to look at both sides of that fight because I like Alexa a lot, but I am very impressed with Macy so far, except for everything I said about the Roxy fight.
Yeah. No, I'm with you that. I think if Alexa wins, I think this will kind of help her up in the rankings too.
Yeah, she's so much better than her losses reflect. Yeah. People need to go back and watch her run in Invicta leading up to that fight with Felice Herrig.
Oh, yeah.
She went undefeated in Invicta. Never won a title. Kind of heartbreaking. Is what it is. But she is the future of that division. But then so is Macy. Yeah. That's the thing right here. This is definitely going to settle the rankings. And Macy's ranked at like 10. I have it right here. And Alexa's 15. Yeah. It's like crazy. Like Jesus Christ, man, it's a great division that people think is lacking talent because there's no names.
It is not because you don't have a lot of upcoming stars in that fucking.
Yeah, you just don't. Macy's trying to stand out by getting on the mic and doing the Connor thing. Yeah, right. She's almost like the Sean O'Malley formula. I mean, do what you got to do, but win the fights. That's all.
Well, that didn't pay off for O'Malley either in his last fight, though.
Oh man, they're gonna rematch the fight. I know they are. They're gonna they want to buy out that Marlon Vera loss with a win and sell O'Malley back to us.
100%. I agree.
That fight's gonna happen again.
All right, Jose, who do you got on this one?
Man, it's a tough fight. I definitely love Grasso, man. I've been watching her fight. Tough girl from LFA, really good fighter, solid fundamentals in the striking department. Really good striker. Grappling wise, she's decent. She can stuff a couple of takedowns. She gets taken down. But I don't think you're going to see that from Macy Barber.
Macy wants to hurt you. Macy wants
Macy wants to break you. And as much as I like Grasso, to keep it honest, I see Barber taking this one probably second round TKO. Ooh. I think Modafferi, that taught her a lesson. I think it's going to light a fire in her, especially training out of Roughy Sports. So look for her to come back, tip-top shape, get that win. Yeah, get that win. Fire. I mean, she was on fire before that. She was knocking out everybody.
Yeah, she was. Yeah.
First round, second round. I think she's going to come back on fire for sure. I don't think she liked the taste of defeat, especially after that Modafferi fight. So, yeah, look for her to take that at TKO second round.
Especially when she was trying to come up with excuses as she walked.
Yeah.
I don't appreciate you trying to take the win away.
No. Modafferi, I love Modafferi, man. I followed her for a long, long time.
Oh yeah,
great grappler, man. Super sweet lady.
So nice.
But no, I definitely going with Barbara on this one. Right. I think Duke Rufus definitely gonna get her ready for this one. Get her mind right.
Definitely.
That's all it is. It's all over here.
Yeah, it's in the head.
Oh yeah, it's all in the head. It's all mental. Alex.
It just depends what we see from Macy. She lost the last fight. It was her first loss in her career. So we don't know how we're going to see. We might see her look better than ever, or we might see her not recovered from that fight, And Grasso's not an easy fight either. I mean, she's fought some tough women in the division, and she's kind of more experienced than Barber. So it just depends what we see from Macy. But I feel like Grasso's going to use her experience. I think Grasso gets the win.
Oh, okay. All right.
And I think she knocks her out, too.
Oh, wow! That's a bold prediction.
That's what I want. But if that's not what that's one of those. I want that to happen. But will it happen, man? Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna message you on Saturday, bro. If this doesn't, I'm gonna message you.
I would not put money down on that, but I want it to happen.
Oh my god! I mean, I would want to put money down it, but I have to look at the odds.
I see Barber being too aggressive. She's gonna try to like go for the knockout, and I feel like Grasso's gonna counter her, and she's gonna counter with shots, and I think that's gonna knock her out.
That'd be sick.
Wow.
That'd be so sick. I already see it coming. I already see it playing in my head.
I mean, I wouldn't mind. I love Grasso, man. There's a Mexican heritage here. I mean, I love Grasso. She's
same here.
She's great, man.
That's right.
I mean, I went to Boyne Park High School, so I'm like,
you're still part of us, bro. Don't worry.
My nickname
nothing about this, bro.
My nickname in high school was Piche Weto, so like.
Hey, stop.
Chris is like, she went to the same 7-Eleven I used to go to, so I'm gonna go with her.
Love it. Hey, dude, I'm serious. If that does happen, I'm gonna message her as I'm like,
oh, yeah, I know, right? I will send. I don't know if you're old enough to drink beer. I'll send you like a.
Nah, he said he don't drink, so I mean, like, all right.
Me neither.
Oh my god, yeah, no, I'll drink for you. I'll be like, oh my god. I think that'll be the shock of the night if that does happen, man. I can't.
Yeah, that would be upset of the night. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially for a knockout. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Upset.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah. I can't wait till we do our topology. I want to see, man. I'm looking forward. I can't wait for next week when we come back and recap this.
Yeah.
All right. And then we got the main event. That is right. USMAN Burns. As much as I like USMAN, but I'll be a shocker. I just want something fresh, man. I just want to. I know USMAN still has it, like, you know, he's still hung. You know, he's there. He's at his prime, but I just want someone new. Just want something fresh. So I mean, Burns. I'll be shocked if Burns take this one by decision overall. I think it'll be like a split decision because I like Burns. Burns is very competitive. But I don't know. It's a tough one for me, but I'll go with Burns. But you know, split decision. CK1.
Yeah, this is a tale of two fighters that are very similar.
Yes.
Obviously, training out of the same exact camp. I mean, literally, I think they're training together until tomorrow, essentially. It's really hard to tell who does what better than the other person. Obviously, you got to go with Kamaru's wrestling. It's probably the thing that stands out between the two. Mm-hmm. But then you look at what Burns did to Woodley, whose wrestling would have stood out against Burns if you were to have that same conversation.
Right.
Kamaru is smart. He's tactical. He's clever. I look at him as like a meaner GSP 2.0.
Okay.
Where Burns is, I mean, I don't know who to compare him to. They're very similar. I think he's a little faster, a little more strike craved. He definitely wants to use his jiu-jitsu last and hit you first, where Kamaru is going to do whatever the moment calls for. We saw that when he won the title against Woodley. He used GSP's game plan against BJ Penn in the rematch. He wore him out, held him up against the cage, made him think about his life. But then cut to the Covington fight where he tooled him up on the feet and wanted to make a statement with his hands.
Yeah.
There's nothing Kamaru can't do whenever he wants to do it. It's just doing it before Burns gets a hold of him. And I think Burns' best shot is on the feet. He's not going to win any wrestling. I don't see him tapping him.
No.
It's going to have to be it almost might have to be a quick win for Burns because the longer it goes, the better the match is going to be for Usman. I will not be surprised by a unanimous decision by Usman. That's my money pick. If I had to lose money on this, that's the pick I would make.
Okay.
I want Burns to win. That would be a great story.
Yes, it would be.
But Usman's on this tear where he is the king of the mountain, man.
Oh, man.
Like I said, just a much meaner GSP 2.0. And that fight can happen someday. Fuck it, man. Make that call. I don't want to see Khabib in GSP. I want to see Usman in GSP.
Ooh, that'll be dope.
That'd be nice.
That'll be nice.
Yeah.
But I mean, we'll have to wait and see.
He's not putting out rap records. He's just in the gym.
You talking about Woodley?
Yeah, a little bit.
And his grade A B movies
and
rap career. I mean, yeah. Well, not much we could say about that.
Yeah,
we
he
can't.
can beat my ass any day of the week.
I mean, he could stay on.
He can out-rap me too, so I don't even.
Yeah, he's got TMZ, rap career, movie career. I mean, the guy does it all.
Yeah.
Now, if he could just go back to MMA and do that again, that'd be great.
Yes,
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
Instead of overwhelming yourself with so much shit, that's when you can't focus on your, on your skills.
Agreed, 100%.
For one thing,
Yeah. Well, go ahead, Mr. Vela. The floor is yours.
Yeah, man. I did a lot of study on this one. This is a great fight, man. Great fight. Both guys train out of Stanford MMA. But I did hear Usman did leave the camp. He went to go train with Trevor Whitman, like he did last time against.
Jesus Christ! Yeah, I'm definitely picking Usman on that one.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, I think Trevor Whitman made some really good changes on him. You saw it definitely in that Masvidal fight.
Yeah.
His hand speed was there. His combinations were there. His footwork was better. Which is great. Now the talk around the water cooler on these two is that Burns in practice might have got a little bit better over Usman in the training.
That's what I heard.
That's training talk. That it is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be bluff and buster, but Burns' grappling is top notch. I mean, we're talking about a jiu-jitsu ace, IBJJF world champion, a no-gi world champion. I mean, the guy's done it all in the grappling scene, My money is going to be just out of grappling, jiu-jitsu guy. I'm going with Burns. I see he's going to win the decision. If you look at Usman, his fight against Maia, I studied his fight against Maia. He fought very cautious. If you saw that fight, he fought very cautious. He didn't throw as much. He didn't get too close. Anytime Maia grabbed him or even pulled guard, he'd walk away right away. He didn't want nothing to do with Maia. Okay. And you definitely don't want anything to do with Burns on the bottom. Burns is explosive from the bottom. He will throw up triangles. He will throw up arm bars. He will sweep. He will get on top, pass your guard, and, submit you. So if you look at that fight, to me, it showed also one of the things I remember on that Maia fight, Maia had him against the fence. Maia was taking his back until that referee intervened and separated him. And Maia was working the back. Maia was working that hook, taking the back, slowly doing what he does, being that anaconda and grabbing on top. And I think it was a close fight. And you saw what Burns did to Maia. I mean, knocked him out.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Knocked him out.
He had no fear of getting caught by anything.
His striking.
He knocked him out standing. And then from the prone open guard standing, I think is where the last shots were landed.
I mean, and look what he did to Woodley. I mean, he dismantled Woodley in that fight. I mean, he beat him from one round to the next. I mean, and if you saw his cardio, he did not wear out any round. No. He was just as fresh in the fifth as he was in the first.
Yeah, and I think
I don't see cardio being an issue.
He was just recovering from COVID for that fight too.
Yeah. So I don't think condition's gonna be an issue. The thing you normally see with guys who've trained together is you see a lot of that respect. Yeah. They know what they each does good and they kind of try and avoid it. Both kind of grapplers look for it to stand. And but if I was gonna put out there, I'd definitely go Burns decision. But I could see Burns knocking him out in the fourth round. Wearing him out against the cage, do some of that grappling. Wear him out, tear him out a little bit. Normally you don't see that from Usman, but you haven't really seen anybody grapple with him. Nobody's grappled with him.
How he reacts to that.
Seeing how he reacts to that, hand fighting, having to defend shots, really having to stuff takedowns. I mean, he's got 100% takedown defense rate. I mean, nobody's taking the guy down.
No, and it's crazy because everybody thought Woodley would.
How does he do with somebody putting that pace?
Yeah.
I just want to see how he does against another grappler. Who's going to put the pace on him? I mean, if it's one thing that Burns does, he puts that pace on you from the first round to the fifth round. So it'll be interesting to see how he handles that. But my prediction is Burns decision.
All right. Oh, Alex, what you got, baby? Who'd you got?
So, man, for me, and I might get heat for this, but I don't like I wish Burns would fight one more before getting the title shot. I would have liked him to fight Covington and then get the title shot. No offense to Tyron Woodley, but Tyron Woodley's not the same that he was years ago. Let's just be honest from his recent performance. I love Tyron Woodley, but he has a problem pressing the gas sometimes, and he loses because he doesn't press the action. He doesn't throw. So for me, I would have liked Burns to fight Covington, and then the winner gets a title. But they gave it to Burns. It hurts for me because I come from a boxing background, but I'm gonna have to go with Usman on this one. Especially he is working with like Trevor Whitman, and he's training guys with Gaethje, and all those guys are really good stand-up guys. And I see Usman using his wrestling, taking him down over and over again. I see that happening, and I see Burns getting tired in the later rounds because he's going to be taken down to the point where he's going to get tired, and I see Usman stopping him in the 4th or 5th round.
Okay, wow. Man.
That could happen.
That could happen. See,
happen.
Oh, God.
Honestly, I don't see that happen. I don't see Usman trying to take him down. I don't think he wants anything to do with Burns' takedown. I think he's going to play the same game he did with Maia.
Okay.
Do the stand-up, avoid the ground, and try and swing it out on the feet. To be honest with you, I mean,
I could be wrong, but I think Usman was lined up to get a title shot with a win over Maia, but Dana White was unimpressed with that lane prey performance and the stalling. And Dana White, I think, said some unkind words like Dana White's one to do with the performance. I think
Dana.
Dana.
Yeah, I think he did say that in a post conference. He did.
I think he was going to give.
He wasn't happy about it.
No, he didn't engage. I just rewatched that fight just before here, and he just did not want to engage on the ground at all with Maia.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at all. I mean, it kind of really killed the fight because we all wanted to see what that would look like.
Yeah, man. Oh my God, I cannot wait. But now, out of all the on the main card, we already went through each fight, right? But let's choose the one. Like, which one do you feel like is gonna be the one that will shock you? Like, besides, I mean, just out of all these fights, name one fight that you wanted to shock you, or do you feel like that it may steal the show away from the main event? So I'll go. Okay. So I'll go with you, Alex. Who do you feel? What fight in this card could steal the main event? Like, which one will be like, oh my God?
There's a couple of them. First one, I'll go Bobby Green and Jim Miller. That one's
going to be the whole card. Oh, let me bring up the whole card.
Oh, the whole card. That's right.
The whole card?
Yeah. Now we're talking my language. I watched every fight from beginning to end.
All right. So, let me, I didn't put up the prelims. So let's go ahead and put up the prelims because I totally forgot about the prelims as well.
Yeah, no worries, brother, because there's some fights on there that I'm just down.
Mm-hmm.
There's some good ones in the prelims.
Dude, a lot of these prelim cards, a lot of those fights could be on this main card, and you can swap out a couple of these, and it would totally make even more sense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's because I felt like the last one did not impress me. The last one was just too I wasn't. Yeah. That's why it's really difficult for me to speak about the prelims. But now that you mentioned Miller, I didn't really pay attention to
and Rodolfo Vieira's in that.
Rodolfo Vieira, I was about to bring that up. Look out for Rodolfo Vieira, grappling superstar, man. Legend. Look for that guy to take this fight and keep that submission record going, man. I mean, that guy on top is unstoppable. That dude's a machine.
Man, definitely. I'm looking forward to seeing the preliminary card for sure. Then, so we got Bobby Green, Jim Miller, Rodolfo Vieira, Anthony Hernandez, Bela Mohammed versus Diego Lima, and Poliana Viana versus Mallory Martin. Okay. And I think there's 3 other ones. I think there's Ricky Simon.
There's early prelims as well.
Early prelims, yeah.
Which I can get on. I can get in on a couple of those real quick. If you want.
Ricky Simon's exciting to watch too. Look for Ricky Simon to be a good fight.
Yeah.
Ricky Simon versus Brian Boom Boom Kelleher is going to be a firefight.
Yeah,
that's going to be a bunch of punches thrown until Kelleher gets that guillotine on him. That's going to be round 1, just war. But shoot down to the first card of the night, which is crazy that she's still the first fight. But if Kamaru Usman is GS 2.0, Miranda Maverick, and that is her real name, is Hughes' daughter incarnate. She smashes ladies. I've been watching her since she was literally turned 18, fighting for Invicta. That was the only thing keeping her from the pros was she was underage. As soon as she turned 18, she debuted in Invicta and just was picking people up and dropping them, smashing them, tapping them. She came over to the UFC and did not slow down. She's been doing that her whole life. That is the future of the division. She is scary, and she's only 23, and no one's heard of her. And so, versus Jillian Robertson, all day long, I'm picking Miranda Maverick. That's not even that'd be the upset win of the night if Miranda loses that fight in any fashion. If it's a decision, if it's a split decision, any way at all, if Miranda loses that fight, upset of the night.
Okay. I see. All right. Okay. Oh,
Sorry, Jillian. Please don't watch this.
I
I still follow you on the gram.
Yeah, man. So yeah, Jose, who should we look up for? I mean, you already said Vieira, but who else in that prelim that we should like actually pay attention?
Yeah, Vieira, man. I think you like I said, Miller versus Green, but I think the other one we haven't talked about is Pedro Munoz versus Jimmy Rivera.
Okay.
I think that's gonna be a firefight. I mean, I think that's gonna be a great fight. Jimmy's a great fighter. I mean, top notch. He just hasn't made it to that top echelon yet. You know, he always kind of falls short. Short. Right before he's like one fight away, and it's like he loses that fight every time, which is like heartbreaking because he's such a good fighter. And Pedro Munoz too, man, tough as nails. His striking's gotten so much better on top of his grappling. I mean, his fight with Edgar, honestly, I thought he won that fight with Edgar. It was close. I think it was a great fight. He also has that decision loss to Sterling, which was also a tough loss. Yeah. But I think he's going to put on the fire on Jimmy Rivera in this fight. Look for Jimmy Rivera definitely to put on a good fight, but look for Munoz to get the win. I think it'll be decision for sure because Jimmy's a hard guy to put away.
It's not. I don't think it's on this card. I think it got rescheduled.
Oh, it got rescheduled?
It got rescheduled?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I was looking for it just now, but if that fight did get added or taken away, I'm still listening because you're right.
Yeah, it says it's going to be in the Rosenstruck card.
Ah, okay.
Oh shit, no worries.
Oh wow, okay, that should be a good fight too.
Okay, all right.
But Vieira's definitely the undercard.
Was that fight moved for any reason, or like? Please don't say that.
It just says undisclosed reasons. I don't know.
Okay, because I know Jimmy was pulled from a fight last year for COVID. So I'm hoping it didn't happen.
I hope it's not again. Yeah.
Oh wait, yeah.
I know he's out of River, right? Doesn't he train with trains in Long Island or Jersey?
Yeah, he trains at Tiger Schulman out of New Jersey.
That's right. Yeah, with Matt Serra. He's a Serra.
Oh, they said one of them tested positive for COVID. That's why.
Oh boy.
This is like our second time, right?
Well, if it's for Jimmy, it would be the second time.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if it's camp, then it's like,
Well, it's not. They didn't get tested. One of the guys from their camps did.
Oh, so he had to quarantine. So he's in quarantine.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right.
And it was, I think Munoz is training out of. Oh, he's in Torrance. Oh shit. Okay. Dope. Good to know.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely look for Jim Miller and Bobby Green to put on a great fight. I agree with that. One. I think those two guys always put. I mean, Green had the most fights in COVID? 4 fights in 2020. I mean, he's the COVID champion, isn't he? 2020.
Keep him in the bubble.
Yeah. I mean, he had that one loss at the end, but I think that was just more wear and tear. You know, he lost by decision. I think 4 fights in 1 year. Probably not having the best camps in the world. So I think it just probably caught up with him. But Bobby Green's a fun fighter to watch. Jim Miller's always fire, man. Too. Yeah. Love Jim Miller. Miller Bros are great to watch. Both of them are always fun to watch.
Yeah. Definitely. I'm looking forward. I mean, shit. But kudos to Green, man, for taking, all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, not many people were willing to do it.
5-6 years ago, it would have been just as good.
That's awesome. Alex, what do you feel? Well, so that's the one you feel as well? Miller and Green? Or which one out of the prelims do you feel like?
Yeah, I said it.
Okay. All right.
I said Green, Miller, and then and Heinisch and Gaslam.
Okay.
I think those two are going to be pretty good ones.
All right.
Probably the match of the night.
So if you feel the same, Jose, that one, or what other ones do you feel like they might steal the show? Like,
no, I think I agree, man. Alex and Heinisch, Gaslam and Heinisch definitely is a fight I think that's gonna be a fun fight to watch. Heinisch wanted to climb up the ladder, young, hungry guy. Gaslam on a chopping block, 3-fight losing streak, doesn't want to lose that 4th one, and that's gonna be tough. So I think look for both guys to come out like dogs and put it on each other.
Oh man,
it's gonna be a fun fight.
I can't wait. CK1, do you feel the same? Or do you have something different that you choose?
No, I mean, with the Jillian Robertson Miranda Maverick fight, that's just keep your eyes on. Those are Miranda Maverick fighter to keep your eye on for sure.
Okay.
As far as stealing the show and the fight, we're gonna go. Okay, so like the Corey Sandhagen Frankie Edgar fight. Yes. When you said at the top of the show, there's a fight we should talk about, I knew exactly the fight you were talking about. This card's version of that. It's either going to be the Ricky Simone, Brian Kelleher fight, or it's going to be Macy Barber, Alexa Grasso.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'm still going to keep it on Gaslam. I just hope that he wins and he keeps his career, keeps his job. So, because Like I said, I don't want him to go to Bellator. They ain't gonna do shit with you over there, man. I mean, I respect
like,
Bellator.
I don't want someone to lose their job, but it is a game. You gotta win to keep it in this game.
I mean, they did mention they're gonna make
he has a home. If he doesn't retire, obviously, if he doesn't retire off a loss, we know he has a home. I don't want to drop any names, but it rhymes with Schmelator. That's kind of.
I wouldn't mind him and Musasi at 185 out in Bellator, though. That'd be a great fight.
Yeah, damn, I love that fight.
What are you guys' thoughts on Anthony Robo Johnson versus Yoel Romero?
Man, that's.
They put that in the quarterfinals. Like, what the fuck, dude? Way to make nobody watch your finals.
Awesome. That's gonna be such a good fight.
Like, we're gonna watch that fight and just not care who wins it. But yeah, it's gonna be.
And then they're on Showtime too. Gives you that Strike Force.
Yeah.
Vibes on it. Yeah.
Scott Coker obviously running shit. So I have nothing against Bellator at all in any capacity except for just the feel, just the watching feel, the production feel. Feels a little lifeless to me. I don't know what it is. And this is before.
I agree.
This is before COVID, when there were still people in the ring. It just felt not as exciting. Everything was quiet. It wasn't, it wasn't just bleed vibes for some reason.
Right. Oh man. Well, definitely, man. I just want to go ahead and thank everyone for tuning in to this week, for watching our prediction show, which we will come back, and hopefully we'll have Jose back with us next week. We'll come back and discuss, discuss about the recap. I swear I'm gonna message you, Alex, if that does come in fruition, bro. I'm gonna lose my fucking mind if that does happen, bro.
Dude, I will videotape myself watching the fight and do a live reaction video.
I'll do the same thing. I'll be like the replay, like just no fuck. I watch. I'm doing that.
There's a lot of fights, and I have my significant other has seen me when someone wins a fight, and I'm very surprised or impressed with. I will run laps around my apartment. When Amanda Nunes knocked out Cyborg, and she started running around the cage with the 2 belts, I did laps in my apartment with no belt. That was one of the more wanted to see it moments in fighting history. And I was just like, I could not believe she did it like that. And
I can't believe Juliana Pena called out the Queen.
Nunes,
I'm sorry.
Why would she do that?
I love Pena too. I love
Pena, but she.
She's not ready.
Not doing anything to Nunes. I'm sorry.
She's not even there yet.
No.
But they'll give it to her because she's beating everyone. So.
Well, no, because Megan Anderson, Megan, we're friends. I know how to say your name. Megan Anderson is next in line. That's a completely different story of a fight right there, because I love Megan. I can say this again. I've been to a bunch of Invictas, watched her grow up live in Invicta events, and to see her do well in the UFC, we always knew it was going to happen. But there are some weaknesses that she's been working on with James Krause. The hands isn't one of them, but there's no way she's catching up to Amanda's hand speed anytime soon. It just is what it is. It's an unfortunate thing. There's just a gap between Nunes and the rest of. She's literally beaten the champion in every division of 2 divisions. She's beaten every champ that's held the 155 belt, and she's beaten every champ that's held the 45 and 35. She's beaten everyone who's held the belt at 135 and everyone who's held the belt at 155. Think about that fucking stat. She's to go. It's not even close. No one's cleaned out both divisions within 4 or 5 years like that. GSP did a great job, but he wasn't fighting former champions. He was fighting guys that were just trying to become champion. Same with Anderson, people he was keeping down from being champion, where she came in and just finished almost every single other champion.
I think Nunes is there to stay. I mean, the only person I think I've seen her give her a good run was Shevchenko.
Yeah.
2 fights.
That was only in the first fight where people were really pissed off about. Where it was less clear than the second fight.
Right.
Yeah.
But still, that's like the only girl you can really point out that's given her like a good, decent fight. I think aside from that, she's blown everybody out.
I was nervous in the Duranemy fight because there was a few moments where I think she tagged her, and Amanda just went to what she knew was better and was her takedown, because she is 15th level black belt. Under Conan, right? Is Conan Severio?
Conan Severio,
Hell yeah. Who beat Sakuraba 25 years ago. Welcome to Japan. I think that was the first fight to be restarted ever in UFC.
Yeah,
history.
it came back and had to do it again.
John McCarthy was like, "I fucked up. I apologize. We're restarting this fight.
Bring him back out again."
Yeah.
Oh man, that's fucking crazy.
Hey, don't talk about Sakuraba like that, man.
Oh, you got it right there.
Wow.
Don't talk about him like that.
You don't get to hold that up with that name behind him on the jersey, bro. On the
Hey, Sakuraba's a legend, man.
Yeah. I can't take anything away. I can't take anything away from what Sakuraba has done.
No, man, that guy's a legend.
Yeah.
Legend.
I love him. That's.
I wish his career didn't end the way it did, but I mean,
Wasn't it soccer kick to the face by like Jason Miller or some shit like that? Or
bro,
Oh yeah.
his worst beating was at Vanderlei Silva, though. Vanderlei Silva.
Oh, like all of them.
my
He fought him like
God.
2 or 3 times.
Yeah,
It
it was
wasn't even
just.
funny. Yeah.
I don't know how many years he took off his life, but it was a lot.
Yeah, I think all of them.
Yeah.
All right.
God damn.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in, and we will see you guys next week when we come back and have our recap MMA episode number 4. So there's more coming, so we'll see you guys next week. Thank you for tuning in.